In Psalm 23, in verse 5, King David says to the Lord, "You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies," portraying his close relationship to God as an honored dinner guest of a generous and capable host. As a gracious host, the Lord attends to David's every need, showering him with personal care, abundant goodness, protection from his enemies, and eternal blessings. David had many adversaries, but in the presence of the Lord, seated at his table, they posed no threat because David had guest rights with the Lord. In the ancient East, a host was obligated to safeguard his visitors from all enemies at all cost. Psalm 23 begins, "The Lord is my shepherd, I lack nothing." The psalm's central theme, that David lacks nothing, is reinforced through every line. The word my underscores the intimacy of David's up-close relationship with God. David acknowledges that God is always with him, looking out for his good, even in the darkest valley of the shadow of death. Even in the most challenging circumstances, in the presence of my enemies, David lacks nothing because his God is with him, supplying his every need and looking out for his welfare. David's assertion, "You prepare a table before me," is equivalent to Paul's declaration, "And my God will meet all your needs according to the riches of his glory in Christ Jesus." Philippians 4:19. This theme of God's constant provision and protection echoes in Paul's prayer for the Ephesians. "I pray that from his glorious, unlimited resources, he will empower you with inner strength through his Spirit. Then Christ will make his home in your hearts as you trust in him. Your roots will grow down into God's love and keep you strong. And may you have the power to understand, as all God's people should, how wide, how long, how high, and how deep is his love. May you experience the love of Christ, though it is too great to understand fully. Then you will be made complete with all the fullness of life and the power that comes from God." Ephesians 3:16 through 19. When we are invited to someone's house for dinner, we cannot open the host's refrigerator and grab whatever we want to eat. We depend on the host to place dinner on the table for us. We wait to be offered food and drink. Thus the statement, "You prepare a table before me," highlights David's dependence on God. The same God who spread a table in the wilderness for the children of Israel by providing daily manna for them to eat would supply all the provisions and help King David. David's confidence in God dovetails with the encouragement in Hebrews 4:16. "So let us come boldly to the throne of our gracious God. There we will receive his mercy, and we will find grace to help us when we need it most." God, the host, welcomes his guest, David, to a feast already prepared and spread out for him on a table. As it was for David, it is for all believers who accept the invitation to dine at the Lord's table. Like David, we depend on God to provide our material and physical needs. We lean on him for understanding and direction in life. We rest in him through prayer. And most importantly, we depend on God for our salvation. "You prepare a table before me" means God's divine power has given us everything we need for a godly life through our knowledge of him who called us by his own glory and goodness. 2 Peter 1:3. Yet it's not only in this life that God meets our needs. God is our gracious and bountiful benefactor for both our bodies and souls for all time and eternity.